1652 Arena Drive in Ramona. Going to go ahead and do my digital inspection. This will be just for you, the homeowner. We always start our inspections underneath the eaves. We're looking at the fascia and then anything exposed underneath here. It's all stuccoed, so we can't see anything. We've gone around the house and we're looking for water staining underneath the eave coming through the stucco to tell us where there will be some leaks. And surprisingly, we haven't found any kind of water staining underneath the eaves. We've got some pretty decent intake ventilation there. Let's move quickly. The majority of the wood looks good around the house. A couple things that I wanted to point out and show you. So when I first pull up to a house that has tile, I'm going to look for drip edge. Drip edge is a piece of metal flashing that basically covers this piece of wood between the fascia and the tile. We've obviously got the rain gutters that are blocking it, so we can't really see it here. But sure enough, I've got termite damage and dry rot in this board right here because there is no drip edge. If this roof was done 16 years ago, it should have had drip edge installed. And so that's kind of a sign that it was not done to code and was not done professionally if it was done 16 years ago. Let's keep working. Looks like we got two different solar systems. This one was probably the original system, and I don't really like the type of standoffs they used. There is no flashing. It's just that little piece of all thread that sticks up through the tile and then relies on caulking to waterproof it. So we start to notice a whole bunch of tiles that are sliding out of place. You've already pointed that out, and we see them again and again consistent throughout the roof. And a lot of the tiles are nailed, but there are a lot that are not. So we started to pull those tiles that are sliding, just getting a look at the paper, and a couple things quickly come to our attention. So we can see all the water in that buildup. So there's a ton of water getting underneath these tiles, and most likely that's from wind-driven rain on those sliding tiles. They're not totally out of place, but they are still compromising the waterproofing of this roof. I would say that the majority of the roof is still original from the 80s. This paper right here looks to be 35 years old. A tile roof lasts 25 to 35 years. And so with this house being about 35 years old, had you not told me it was done 16 years ago, everything about this says, yes, there's been repairs done to it, but it is still original. These flashings are newer than the roof. This house probably originally had mortar flashings, and then these were added at some point. I'll come back, put all these back in place. Obviously, these were all, darn it, that's the first one I broke. Again, these were no nails. We could see that because the nail holes haven't been punctured. And then we could see just how badly worn the paper is and all of the water buildup that we see in there. Also, the nails are really rusty, and 16 years ago, we should have been using nails with plastic caps on this felt paper. There is only one layer to the felt paper. Nowadays, we're definitely using 2 layers of felt. I'm gonna have a hard time showing wind damage. Basically, wind damage on tile is typically, a handful of tile, a whole row of tile, usually down at the very bottom, is flipped up from the wind. And so, quite frankly, this is just either an old and worn out roof, or it is poor workmanship from whoever has made the repairs over the years. So we see that looks like a furnace vent that's been added, not properly flashed. And then down here is probably the worst section. When a roof, my opinion would be that this roof is bad and needs to be replaced. And when it is bad, it's very hard to pinpoint exactly where the water's getting in, because it could be getting in so many different places. But here's another tile that wasn't nailed. And sure enough, if we get nice and close in there, we can see the plywood. We can actually see the plywood right there. Here, that flashing should be over the top of the tiles. So that was never installed correctly. And so all of that is rotten. If I stood right there, I'd probably go right through it. And so I'm going to take some pictures and we can discuss some different ideas.